Beirut, Lebanon, thanking Russia for the military intervention he credited for saving Syria. President Bashar al-Assad met with President Vladimir V. Putin amid preparations for new talks aimed at ending the civil war. Assad's visit on Monday to the Russian resort town of Sochi was made public on Tuesday, a day before a summit meeting there for the leaders of Iran, Turkey and Russia, who have taken an increasingly prominent role in diplomacy with Syria while the United States has put Assad's fate on the back burner. Russian officials have said that their aim is to ensure Assad's support for a political process to end a conflict that began more than 6 years ago. But Assad has consistently resisted compromise with his Syrian opponents, and doubts remain about how much Russia is willing, or able, to push him to accept significant changes like substantive power sharing or reforms. In another signal that political change in Syria is less and less an international priority, in a phone conversation with Putin on Tuesday that lasted more than an hour and was mostly about Syria, President Trump did not bring up the issue of political transition, an administration official said. Instead, the White House said the two leaders agreed on the importance of stability, ending the war, fighting terrorism and allowing refugees to go home. The declarations of military victory may also be premature. The Islamic State has lost much of its territory, but its fighters remain an insurgent threat and armed opposition groups still hold significant sections of the country. It was Assad's second known trip abroad since the civil war in his country began in 2011. He visited Moscow in 2015, soon after Russia began its pivotal air campaign in support of his forces. The Sochi stop came as his other main allies, Iran and the Lebanese militia Hezbollah, declared that they had defeated the Islamic State in its last major Syrian stronghold, Bukamal, near the Iraqi border. Saying that the military operation is really coming to an end, Putin told Assad that it was time to work toward a lasting political settlement. Parallel Russian and American-led campaigns against the Islamic State have largely shattered the group's territorial self-declared caliphate. But a solution to the underlying conflict, which began after Assad's forces cracked down on political protests, has remained elusive. Insurgents unaffiliated with the Islamic State still hold patches of territory, besieged and bombarded by government forces, near the Syrian capital, Damascus, in the northern provinces of Aleppo and Idlib, and along the border with Jordan. Tens of thousands of people are missing, including civilians believed detained by the Syrian government. 12 million Syrians, half the population, have been driven from their homes. On Tuesday, the Syrian Network for Human Rights, which tracks war casualties through a database of victims identified by name, said that since March 2011, at least 26,446 children had been killed in the conflict, a vast majority by government forces. The main thing is to move to political processes,